Previously on Headache. Someone released the lions from their cages.
But all the lions have been dead for over 100 years.
There's too much TV. And with dense narratives, layers of continuity, and an abundance of characters, it can be hard to keep track of everything, and we need at least a little reminder of what's happening. This is where the recap comes in.
Previously on AMC's Breaking Bad.
A quick montage of moments to condense what's happened before into a Cliff Notes version of the show, setting you up for the episode ahead.
You probably don't even remember who he is. Tell me they previously on him. Previously on this guy.
But by showing us what happened before, does it reveal too much of what's to come and spoil the surprise? To explain what I mean, let's recap the origin of the recap.
Previously on Recaps.
In the 50s and 60s, following their success on radio, Wild West TV shows were hugely popular. This included the life and legend of Wyatt Earp. It told a story across multiple episodes, and as a result, viewers were kept up to speed with a recap at the start of every episode, usually summarizing everything in a few sentences of voiceover.
Bill Thompson had killed Earp's close friend, Sheriff Whitney, and Earp had arrested Bill, who escaped.
It was experimental, but the recap helped keep people glued to their screens, excited to see where the story will go next. But there was a showdown, and out stepped the arch nemesis of the recap, the rerun. Reruns were big business. It was difficult scheduling weekly programs that had to run in a specific order, and TV networks were more attracted to shows that could run in any order multiple times. So networks focused on the standalone format. Whether you're a long-time fan or a first-time viewer, you don't need any recaps. The only narrative context you need is covered by the theme song.
Well, the first thing you know, old Jed's a millionaire. The kinfolk said, Jed, move away from there.
This method is done in a lot of standalone shows.
Now this is a story all about how
a baby was born and it caused a little stir.
the children grow, learn
Fabulous secret powers.
Water. Wind. Okay, we get it.
But even in standalone shows, the recap would pop up sometimes, such as on the occasional multi-parter episodes.
Last time on Star Trek The Next Generation.
But even before she can get her knickers on, I've seen everything.
The 80s saw a rise of ongoing stories with primetime soaps and dramas. According to TV historian Gary Edgerton, for the first time it was important to know what happened before, and it was important to follow along. So the recap was reintroduced. But it wasn't an opening narration anymore, it was the slice and dice montage from previous episodes, cut together like a trailer for the show you're already watching.
That is not Lamont.
Previously on Hillspeed Blues.
This is a bitch.
It was integral, especially to casual TV viewers. If you missed an episode, the recap has your back. Comic books have a notorious relationship when it comes to recaps. Characters will just suddenly appear without introduction, or there'll be references to past events, and the only context you get is a little panel that says, see issue blank, or read a totally different comic to get this reference. It can be frustrating sometimes, especially when you just want a complete and compelling story without having to untangle external plot threads like untangling Christmas tree lights. Which brings me to this video's sponsor, Grey Cells. Grey Cells tells a complete story from beginning to end, so no untangling required. Help me! Grey Cells is a dark, supernatural thriller about a boy who has been abducted from his home by a creature no one wants to admit exists in a city full of crime, corruption, and inequality. No one is willing to help, so it's down to a rookie journalist to uncover the sinister truth. If creepy psychological horror is your bag, then go get Grey Cells. It's available on Comixology, Drive-Thru Comics, and more. But if you go directly to the creator's website, link in the description, you'll be able to get 10% off the complete 140-page story by using the promo code HEADACHE10. And if you want to check out the comic first, you can read the first issue completely free. So thank you to the creative team behind Grey Cells. And wait, where do those Christmas tree lights go? Not even Christmas yet! Into the 90s and beyond, shows started to have more complicated characters and stories, so the recaps also got more complicated, becoming part of the show itself.
And that's what you missed on...
As it drew into its final seasons, Lost would show an hour-long recap, making it basically an entire bonus episode, which probably had more to do with the writer's strike of 2007. The Legend of Korra has a recap actually be in-universe, keeping with the theme of the rapid technological advancements, with the commentator character recapping the events in the style of 1920s newsreels.
And what nefarious plan does the mysterious man behind the mask have in store for our hero?
These methods not only convey the relevant information, but also the mood and tone you can expect.
Here's what you missed on Shameless last week. I got really drunk. I'm not sure what happened after that.
In physical releases, these recaps are often omitted other than for bonus features. And on streaming services, shows that had recaps on TV were sometimes removed for streaming. And their absence created the online recaps, not just for story beats, but also deconstructions and analysis. A bit like video essays. Even shows that do have recaps sometimes have the option to skip them. It's important not to assume that the recap is irrelevant. People's lives may be too hectic and busy to consume media in consecutive sittings, and without the gentle reminder of relevant plot details in increasingly more complex shows, then all those shocking plot twists or callbacks lose impact. People retain information differently, and without a recap, they won't feel welcome as part of the audience. Recaps are still an important part of TV, which makes them perfect for parody.
The show so far.
And then a man told us about what had happened on the show so far, and a great hammer came and hit him on the head. Don't remember that.
Even when they're done seriously, they still have their oddities.
I would love to be with you always, but...
I know it's hard, but it's the only way.
Previously on Battlestar Galactica.
You must betray Rosalind and run for president in the upcoming election. I know it's hard, but it's the only way.
Battlestar Galactica would use alternate takes or straight up invent scenes in the previously on that never actually happened previously on.
But he's an engineer, not a commander.
Look, see how whoever is talking isn't the person on camera? Very cheeky. Or you'll get the midway through recap, where after the cut to commercial, it comes back recapping what we've literally just seen, for those who are only just joining.
Every wish Timmy Turner has ever made will be undone. Timmy Turner, you have made a secret wish. As a result, all of your wishes will now be undone.
Which would make a lot of sense if this happened in real time. They'll just be repeating themselves, but whatever. But sometimes, instead of recaps allowing you to get caught back up in the excitement, it's the recaps that get caught up in the excitement. You know those times where something often begins midway through and it's a...
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
Sometimes corny, but they're there to set up expectations. Sonic begins with an action sequence before showing his origins, but without that opening sequence, our first impression may be, this is a baby movie about a baby Sonic made for babies? Megamind and Emperor's New Groove both begin with the characters in dire situations, so when it juxtaposes them acting like pricks, we know that their comeuppance is coming imminently, and we don't just instantly dislike them. These operate as a kind of tease, and when it happens, it doesn't come as a surprise. You know exactly what to expect, and these recaps are doing this too.
Previously on She-Hulk.
Oh, okay, so this is stuff that happened in the last episode, and it's that random character we saw in one scene in the first episode. I wonder if she's coming back!
Previously on Star Trek Picard.
Oh, okay, this is all contextual stuff. Good. A clip of the character who has nothing to do with the situation. I wonder if she's coming back.
Previously on Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh, wow, things are going great for these characters. Oh, they look so happy. I hope nothing bad happens. I wonder if something bad will happen. So in their attempt to sensationalize the previously on, like, attention-grabbing trailers, we don't get recaps that recap the vital details, but one that heavily spoil what to expect. And unlike the "yep, that's me" trope, by telling us what to expect, it blows the impact of any plot twists. Otherwise, why would it put these things in a recap if they weren't going to be playing a part in the upcoming episode? There's a principle called Chekhov's gun. You've probably heard of it. If there's a gun hung up on the wall, then by the end of the play, it needs to be shot. Otherwise, get rid of the gun. In other words, if a recap includes a detail like a character leaving, then logically that character will be coming back. Ahead of the Season 5 finale of Game of Thrones, the previously on segment was leaked early, and it contained enough context clues for fans to dissect, meaning it provided a lot of major spoilers for the season finale. If it had just been a basic recap of events up to that point, the leak wouldn't have been so bad. And that's not even going into the on the next episode, on tonight's episode, and the title sequences that include plot elements that will be important later. It just seems like TV shows can't help themselves but spoil the surprise. But then again, maybe knowing what happens actually makes the show better? In 2011, researchers gave over 800 subjects a collection of short stories from Roald Dahl to Agatha Christie, with ironic twists and mysteries. This was divided into 3 groups. The first had the ending given away as an independent text before the story. The second had the ending spoiler incorporated into the story's first paragraph. And the last group had no spoilers at all. The results showed that not only did the participants prefer the spoiled stories over the unspoiled stories, they preferred the version that spoiled the ending as an independent text, separate to the story itself, just like the spoilers hidden in a previously on. This is known as the spoiler paradox. But why? Surely knowing the ending ruins the story, and therefore your enjoyment of it?
Spoiler alert, it won't.
Spoiled stories can be easier to follow and understand, allowing you to take in more of the details and pay more attention to the cause and effect of the characters' behaviors. After all, we enjoy watching our favorite stuff over and over again, including those with a twist. We know the ending, but we still enjoy the story. It's not exactly a surprise at what happens at the end of Titanic, is it?
Well, I didn't see it coming!
So maybe the previously on recap isn't just there to help you get back up to speed, but also to mentally prepare you to process the unfolding events on an emotional level by providing you with enough context clues of what's to come. I don't think I want to be told the ending of every story I see, and I would personally prefer that recaps were straightforward, spoiler-free, and skippable. But then, they're not there for just me. So, to recap, recaps are made for everyone. And who cares if the previously on spoils the end? Lions! Who could have seen this coming?
Next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Special shout out to this month's patrons, including Ashley Bird McCarthy, Sloan Schoolcraft, Rusty Robot, Vinny Vex, Drifter Wolf, Setsune Wave, Useless Jack, Mo Alkasemi, Double X Studios, Joe Wood, Jake Pinkerton, Matthew Smith, Alex Weston, Brett Halford, Clem Wensley, Joel the Gay Noodle Jennings, James's Junk, and Nathan Chawinati. And if you would like to support me, then please consider doing so on Patreon.